You are listening to Single Women and Motherhood on Apex Radio.
What's good, y'all? And now tuned in to Apex Radio.
Hey, what's up? You're listening to Apex Radio.
And I am feeling all right. Welcome, everyone. I am Ann-Marie Ricketts from the Single Women in Motherhood Training Program. This is the S.W.I.M show. And today we are here to just share some love, to reach out to everyone, and to let you know we are your family and we're here. We are located at 296 Horton in London, Ontario. Our number is 519-432-5454 for those who want to reach out and, have a voice. We welcome everyone. I'm the executive director / founder. I'm a mother. I'm a friend. And I am a woman who is here trying to help make a difference in our little community, in our world. Just to let you know that you are special and you are important. So don't hesitate. Pick up the phone. Send us an email, www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com. We are there for you when you are ready to give us a call. And we're here with the lovely Clarissa, and I want her to introduce herself and some of the things that she's been doing.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here. I've been working with Ann-Marie at S.W.I.M for the past year in different ways, but the most recent one is with my not-for-profit, which is the Fearless Foundation for Learning. And we're really excited about coming together with S.W.I.M for that one because we both are very like-minded and we're both very much involved in the community and for families. So for the Fearless Foundation for Learning, we are there to help the lower income families have access to high quality tutoring. A big issue today is the fact that there's not enough help in the classrooms. And so we're here to bridge the gap between families who have the money to pay for high quality tutoring and the families who don't. So we have a subsidy for them. We also connect families with tutors, and we offer the subsidy. And we also connect families to services in their community. So for example, if somebody is coming to us and saying, well, I really need to find some way to empower myself and my family, I would refer them to Single Women in Motherhood. Our last one that we're trying to do, actually, no, before then, we also, like S.W.I.M, we advocate for the people who come to us, but we advocate for them in an education setting. So if they are uncomfortable talking to their teacher, then we'll go in with the parent and the child, or just the parent, to speak with the teacher, principal, etc., to help them feel more comfortable, because we are certified teachers and understand the lingo and then can help you understand it as well. And our biggest one that is coming up is ESL for newcomers to Canada, where we bring a tutor, an ESL tutor, and a translator into your home so that whoever in your home wants to learn English, you can all learn together instead of just having one or two members learn on their own.
Wow, that is a lot. I am so impressed. I'm so happy to hear this is on the go. And we all know what it's like to have to face a group of people and you don't have the support structure like friends or family to go into these meetings with you. So you're just right up our alley. It's amazing because more of this is needed in the community. It's similar to our community agent program, and we have volunteers in the community that if you have like court or doctor's appointment, or if you have to go to school and there's like a whole team of school players and you're the only one around the table, we know how challenging and frightening that can be. And that's why we created our community agent, which is totally amazing. And as I said, there's not enough of that. especially for the school system. I remember when I was young and I had recently moved to London, and my daughter was just not having that, the youngest one. And she was, every day I'm getting that phone call. And, I didn't know where to turn or who to go to. And yes, they have a social worker in the school, and they have, people you could work with, but no one to be hands-on. And to be able to have that support structure sitting with you at a meeting. So if there's things you don't understand, or if there's things you're reading a piece of paper, you don't quite get the concept of it. It's so nice to have an additional eyes and additional ears to say, okay, that's not what they mean. What I heard them saying is this, and that. And that kind of support is totally amazing. It's so needed. And we have moms all the time coming in. So I'm happy that you're up and you're ready, you're rocking and rolling, because now we have another outlet to say, okay, this is who we partner with, and, give them a call, see if there's anyone there, you know?
And one thing I'd like to add to that, and I'm sure you can relate to this, and many of your viewers can, is as a mother myself, quite often we go into these meetings with the teacher, and I don't know about you, but I'm a lion. A lioness, I should say. And and when somebody's calling in about my child, I'm already ready to attack them before they've even told me what terrible thing my child has done. So it's really nice having that extra support, because we're so emotional just going in there, whether it be anger or feeling close to tears. So it's nice to know that you have somebody there who you've already spoken to and you have a relationship with, and who can go ahead and speak for you when you're not at that place to speak anymore. And I did actually have that with one mom that I went with, and she had been dealing with this one teacher for a very long time, and very, very negative dealings all along. And I had been working with her and her child for about a year by then. So we had a good, solid relationship. We had a meeting before the appointment, and I found it exactly what she needed. And within like 5 minutes, her voice was quivering, and she was just not able to keep it together. So I was able to talk the teacher lingo that teachers like to talk, because I am a certified teacher. And she had no idea what was going on, but by the time we left and she started to calm down, I explained exactly what we came up with. She's like, that's exactly what I wanted. And she just felt so relieved, because she just knew that everything was taken care of, even though she emotionally couldn't be present.
Well, I could tell you this much, Clarissa, your doors are going to be knocking off the hook, because it's so needed. It is so, so needed. When you talk about lioness, I am like the leader of the lion pack, because guess what? When my daughter was given challenges in school, or having challenges, she was given challenges and having challenges, because they could not handle her. She was so sensitive, so emotional, and it grows with them if you don't intervene early enough.
Yeah.
And I just said, okay, I do not want you guys to call me no more. I'll be in this school. I went into the classroom with her, and I sat in her class twice a week. And that support was able to help her to regain some confidence. And I remember I would work with the teacher and saying, okay, which one of the students need any help with reading or anything like that? And she just thought, all Miss Mighty, oh, it's my mommy and she's going to help me. And oh no, I'm not here for that. I'm here to make sure you're doing your work and you're behaving yourself, and the teachers are not misjudging you.
I think that's
right.
Awesome that your child was able to have that.
On top, I was so blessed to be able to do that. I was in position. And not only that, I work with the children really who were struggling, because she's a very smart little girl. And then I had a connection with someone in the community that had a connection with, I just have to share this, with a factory, chips. And they would offer me boxes and cases of chips. So you know who the popular girl was. Because every Friday, Mommy's coming in with chips for everybody in the class. But it was such an honor to work with these students who were having challenges with math and read. And I learned something because it teaches me and continue to teach me that we're always learning. And I think this is why I'm in the place where I am at, because I'm so willing, and this is going to be our topic, what's on our mind today. We are so willing to fight the need to learn. And what you did with that mom is teach her there's other ways, It's if it doesn't work this way, we could try this way. And being able to calm someone down or get tangible result is a key element of what we're talking about moving forward. I am just so happy to hear about Fearless Learning.
The Fearless
Foundation. I keep calling it Fearless Learning because I'm all about learning and growing constantly, right? But the Fearless Foundation is, it's a blessing. It's a blessing, and I hope it's going to be adapted and we can create this and move it right across Ontario and Toronto because it's so lacking, right?
Our goal is actually to go nationwide. We're starting in the Thames Valley area, and then, yes, our goal is to go Ontario and then nationwide. For now, we've started with the Educational Help Centers Incorporated. They are... they're an acting not-for-profit tutoring agency, and so we meshed really well, just like S.W.I.M and the Fearless Foundation for Learning. Like I said, it's a mouthful. I understand.
Oh yeah, when my older children were growing up, all of them had tutoring. I remember my son had, I think he was English and my daughter was math, or he was math and she was English. But I just remember having the university students, being, because they were in like grade 3, 4. And I recognize, okay, because you got to be in tune with where do they need the help. And, but back then students were involved. I don't know what's going on these days. People are just so busy.
Well, it's not only that, but the education, the way the classroom looks is completely different than it looked when I was in school. I'm not going to say how long ago that was.
Just yesterday. Work with me, girl. Work with me.
But when I was in school, I will kind of date it a little bit. We had special education rooms, and I was lucky enough to be in a special education room.
I was too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And actually, I say that I'm lucky enough because it was a wonderful thing. I had a really hard time transitioning from, we had moved, so I had a really hard time transitioning from one school to the next. I was in kindergarten, I was young, and it was a whole other world. And I had the most amazing teacher who I've been trying to look for a long time and have yet to find him, but the search is on to tell him what an awesome job he did. But not only that, but because I can speak freely about the fact that there is nothing wrong with special education rooms.
It's so needed.
Yeah.
I transitioned from another country to here, so I do relate to the transition and how challenging it can be, and that's why I ended up in my daughter's classroom and support. And you know what? Out of that volunteering position, I was hired on the school as a lunchroom supervisor, and I was on the yard duty.
Awesome.
So I actually created a job for myself, and I got paid for being there, and I remember going to meetings with the principal and the staff, and I could have gone into the principal and taken over his job if I had stuck with it.
I think that's awesome. And just to digress a bit from the special education rooms, I do want to say that I have a lot of parents asking me what schools are the best schools, because I've been around to many schools, and I say to them, I can't tell you what the best schools are because sometimes it changes depending on who is running the school. But what I do tell them, and you are a poster girl for this, is take a look to see how many parents are involved in the school. Do you have volunteers outside of the school in there? Because if you have parent volunteers in that school, then it means that the school is open to having people in. It's accepting. It means that the parents are able to work really well with the teachers, because the teachers are not our enemies. Teachers are trying their best. Sometimes we might not be able to communicate the best that we could. I mean, I wasn't the best communicator when I first started. I was scared. The first parent I ever talked to yelled at me, and I was a student teacher at the time. So it took me a long time to, I think it was once
So basically what you're saying is teachers are people too.
They are, yes.
They have emotions and feelings.
Yes.
So if we could actually place ourselves in their position, we'll totally get.
Yeah, and if we can
Get it.
kind of keep ourselves calm and find the right questions. And that's where getting in touch with the Fearless Foundation for Learning and Single Women in Motherhood can help, because it could prep you even. Like if you don't have somebody going in with you, if you do want to go in on your own, you could give one of us a call and just say, hey, like, what are some good ways that I can question the teacher, and writing it down as well, because reflection afterwards is really good. So like the answers.
Wow, that was a mouthful, but a worthwhile mouthful, because these are information not just for you, but also for people that you may know that's in the position that needs that guidance, right? So it's awesome when we can share these information just for you, so you could share it too. And this is how we do it. This is all about working together, no man's an island. We are here just doing our thing, and we're here to help you grow and enjoy the journey. So we're going to move on to some parenting tips. And one of the things that I think I am having a challenge with my 2 and 10-month-old is nighttime, bedtime. How do you get? So we're looking at can't get your kids to sleep. Stop making these 4 common bedtime mistakes. So we have challenges, and we're still growing. No matter how much you've done it before and you've had kids before, every child is their own person, right? So it's so nice to reconnect with ideas and things to be able to help. So one of the things that we want to talk about is one of the common mistakes that parents do is not sticking to a routine. I think you could relate to that, right?
It's true. Yep.
Right? Kids benefit from a regular bedtime routine. Like, you can't have them all over the city and then you expect to come home and they're just going to jump and, dive into the bed and settle down. There's got to be a bedtime routine. And sometimes it allows you as a parent to stick to that routine as well. And with that in mind, like if you are going away or you have them at a babysitter, you need to implement those bedtime routine for them, because it makes your life so much better, and it makes their life better. So by starting, you have to start by helping them wind down. Remember, they're all out all day, they're in activities and stuff like that. And, sometimes they do need that little wind down time. Like my daughter, she likes to rub my arm. And
that's nice for you too.
Oh, it is. It's soothing for me. And if I'm not careful, I fall asleep with her. So I got to be talking to myself in my mind that I still got this to do. I still need to take out the clothes and organize for tomorrow. But that's what puts her to bed, right? And help her to just slowly wind down. The other thing that we want to talk about is not encouraging enough exercise in the day.
Yes, that is.
As a teacher, you should
it's true.
Elaborate on that.
Well, actually, I can use a couple of examples. I mean, number one, if they're not running around and expending their energy in a positive way, then they're going to expend it in a negative way. So, for example, they're going to be, digging holes in the furniture with their fingernails because they've been sitting in front of the TV for too long. That's energy that's trying to escape. The number one thing, and some of your listeners might laugh at this because it's been on news stations a bit, is the fidget spinner.
I never heard of that one.
That's the one where the kids are playing with it's got 3 sides and they spin it around their fingers. And they've been selling it as something that would be good to calm somebody with ADHD or hyperactivity or anybody who just has excess energy. But something that I've noticed as a tutor is the students that I work with who are hyperactive and they come in with their fidget spinners, they will be spinning that thing so fast and their brain is moving super fast but not in a positive way, and they can't focus. And so I'll tell them, put it down, try this, and I'll give them a squishy ball. And if I first give it to them, they'll squish it really fast because their brain is still going crazy. And then I tell them, okay, now try slowing it down. And the interesting thing is, as they slow it down, their brain can still be working quickly, but it's focused.
Ah.
So I will tell you, the fidget spinner, it is fun. I play with it too, but it should be looked at as a toy.
Not as therapy?
Not as therapy, and definitely not as a bedtime thing, and not as an exercise thing, because it's just using their fingers. But yeah, so, but dancing, skipping rope, jumping, Wii games, those are all fabulous ways to help get off their nervous energy, their excess energy if they're stuck inside. Outdoors is so important because not only are they playing, but they're getting fresh air and sun and natural vitamin D. Things that'll keep us healthy.
The other tip that we want to really talk about is rewarding for being awake. So when you put the kids or send them to bed and they're in there playing or they just can't sleep, I know we want to be nice to our kids and we want to love them and encourage them. But one of the things you don't want to start doing, and if you're doing it, think about it before you do it. So one of the things we don't want to start encouraging is, giving them sweets and candy, or maybe 2 cookies that has so much sugar in it, it starts your adrenaline again, right?
It sure does.
So you have to you have to find a way to help them settle down so they can slowly fall asleep by calming, turning down the lights, or maybe cuddling, trying to cuddle them, or I don't know.
I love
tuck them
cuddling.
in and stuff like that, because then that will help, keep their mind. And maybe if they're too old for a bedtime story, you can, start talking to them about, things that they plan to do and what tomorrow is going to look like, to help their brain start to slowly,
My oldest son is almost 12, and so now he's doing it where instead of having me read to him all the time, he reads to himself. So because we've always done bedtime reading, it's now stuck with him. So he has his lights turned down, his small lamp, and he reads to himself, and then I say lights out, and then lights are out, and he goes to sleep. So those routines that you start with when they're young for bedtime can actually stick well into adulthood. And that's a wonderful thing, because there's far too many of us working really long days and not getting enough sleep. So
basically what you're talking about is inconsistent rules. So things like that, you would let it go instead of paying attention to it. So the rules are fluctuated all the time. So inconsistent rules, basically how you get them to, so telling the child, okay, so it's bedtime, you have 5 minutes to get ready for bed, so put away your toys, do whatever you have to do, right? Or they don't get their bedtime story, things like that. You have to stick with that so they get used to a routine, right?
that's right.
It's so important for them to be able to get into that routine, because people have to remember, you as a mother, you have a life. You need some me time. And most of the time when the kids are taken care of and all that, you need to be able to sit back. When my kids were younger, they know by 8:30, 9 o'clock they're in bed. Whether you want to sleep or not, go in the bedroom. I don't want to see you. It's my time now. If I want to associate or, talk to a friend on the phone, I don't feel that guilty that I'm not paying them attention. But it's therapy for me to be able to relax.
Yes, and I have had friends who have let their kids stay up until 10, sometimes later on a school night. And I don't get it, because for me, I'm the same way as 8:30. You guys are in bed, we'll do some reading, and then definitely I have my me time at 9 o'clock. And I never understood why those parents didn't want their me time.
Boy, each one teaches one, I'm telling you. Positive reinforcement is always better than negative, consequence, right? So we are so quick to jump on the negative and not use the positive ones. It's a good habit to get into that positive reinforcement, such as if you're using the sticker points or anything like that, That's where you use a positive reinforcement instead of yelling and saying, get in bed, like I always do. Get in bed.
Well, and that raises their adrenaline as well, so that it's harder for them to fall asleep.
Because now mom's upset.
Yeah.
So, the positive reinforcement, if you're using the sticker, point or whatever you're using, whatever tool that you're using to, appreciate your child and have them to build their confidence, that could be a thing, If you get into bed, get ready in 5 minutes and get into bed, you not only can have a bedtime story or you not only can do this, but you'll get a sticker. Wouldn't that be nice? And get them involved in why would that be nice? What would you like? How, get the kids involved.
I like that you said, what would you like? Because having them kind of come up with the choices helps them, because then they're the ones who said, well, okay, I would like to do this, which means that now I'm definitely going to follow the rules. Hopefully.
So just hopefully is right. So just to stay on point, even getting the preschoolers ready, and having not only getting them ready, but also getting them to stay in bed, right? These are the steps. Just as a reminder, have consistent bedtime for them. Be consistent. I know things come up, people life change and stuff like that. Maybe those times are when you can have that conversation to let them know we're a little bit late, and encourage these thoughts in their head from an early stage that we are running behind time, but this is what we need to do, and this is how we gotta prepare ourselves for that. The other thing is introducing quiet time before the bedtime actually is curving down, like they're running around, they're playing, the routine, it's time to have your snack, and get ready for bed. And, you need to brush your teeth now. And, just finding ways to help them settle down mentally and physically in their body, telling them a bedtime story is the classical one, and reading a book, helping them to rewind. The other one is how to handle a wandering child. If your child cries for you or gets up out of bed at night, you need to be strict. Basically. Once more, right? Reassure the child with a calm voice. Tell them that this is their bedtime and they have plenty of time to play tomorrow. I know you're excited about tomorrow, but if you don't get enough rest, you won't even be able to play because you're going to be too tired. So we talked for the last couple of weeks about, being consistent and engaging, and communication is one of the big things. Find a way how you and your child can communicate and what works for them, and helping them to give you solutions. They're so good at it.
Yes, they are.
They are good at it. And rewarding for good behavior is the last key element that we want to share. It is so important for us to recognize when they're doing good. Not always when they're doing bad. You gotta, and remember I was talking a couple weeks ago about my daughter when she took her shirt off for the first time all by herself. It was the most rewarding. Oh, she was such a big girl, and I said, yay, good for you. And she bowed, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm thinking, what the, where did she get that from, But I don't care. It was just so breathtaking to see her bow and acknowledge, so that shows you from a young age how important it is to acknowledge the little kids, right?
And the little things, and those things will give them the confidence to keep trying to do things on their own, and that's a wonderful thing.
It is. So that's where we're at, and we encourage you, if you have any question, please reach out to us by contacting us at www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com. You could hit us up on Facebook. You can also check us out on the Apex info. Hit up the Apex Radio. You can send them a question. It is so nice to communicate with you out there. And if I can't answer your question, I think the Fearless Foundation can. I will always be able to resort to them for any information that I'm not familiar with. So I am just so happy to be able to share those tips with you. I am very pleased to see how things are just moving along, and all the wonderful new ideas that we get from our guests and things that work for them. So if it worked for them, it will work for you too. So I just want to go back to some, announcement just to remind everybody about London's Got Talent. It's coming up. We are in motion right now tomorrow, September the 22nd from 4:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Sprit Theatre, Covent Garden Market. And on Saturday, September the 23rd, 1 to 5 p.m. at the S.W.I.M office. 12 talented performers will be selected to compete and perform in front of a live audience and in front of celebrity judges on October the 20th, 2017 at the Wolf Performance Hall. The lucky winner will receive $1,000 cash prize. All other procedures goes to benefit the S.W.I.M and the SMART Scholarship and that supports single mothers in the London area. All ages are welcome. Please, all ages are welcome to audition any style. Bring yourself and your unique talent. London's Got Talent 2017 Single Women in Motherhood Training Program. We're also shouting out and reminding everybody about our GoFundMe campaign. Please hit us up. Support us by sending this to your friend. You can go to www.gofundme.com/singlewomeninmotherhood.com. Again, S.W.I.M is located at 296 Horton, Wellington and Horton. At the corner, we are right above the Tim Hortons, and we are here to support all single mothers. Please don't hesitate to give us a call at 519-432-5454. And if there's anything you want to talk about, give us a call, shout us out. Don't forget to check us out every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. and then a replay on Saturday from 9 to 10. Find us on Facebook, Apex Radio. You can go to all the shows to hit up anyone that you like. Just hit the like and follow and comment. And that's our announcement for today. So we're going to talk about what's on our mind here. And every day, the things that's on my mind, they change as the day go by. But today, we really want to touch base on what's on my mind. What's on my mind is for mothers to be able to access the flow. Well, what does that mean? Things fall in place when it's supposed to. We are constantly overwhelmed. We're stressed. We don't have enough time in the day. We should have did this, shoulda, woulda, coulda, and we want to remove those language out of our vocabulary. We need to be able to take control of going with the flow, because if you really understand that concept, you'd be surprised at the things that will fall in place. There is things in the community that people like Clarissa, myself, so many other women are working so hard to make sure that the things are in place for those who need it when it's needed. So, for example, you're running late for a job interview. You get there half an hour late, 15 minutes late. You think the world is going to end. It's okay. You are where you're supposed to be at the time you're there. And there's always a reason for the things to happen. So that's what's on my mind. And I'm going to find out what's on Clarissa's mind.
I'm going to just add to you first, if you don't mind.
Please,
because
help me out.
It's a fabulous example as to you talking about the world not ending if you are not there on time. I'm a single mom as well, and that's how the main reason why I know single women in motherhood, and then we have created partnerships since then. But when I was teaching, I seemed to be on a path that I didn't understand. So I had a long-term teaching position, and I was seeing how many students were being left behind, and especially in math. And I felt horrible seeing the blank stares out there. And so I would spend all of my extra time working with them, so my lunch hours, et cetera, et cetera. And so I decided my next year I was just going to supply teach, and I was going to go to all the schools that I could go to see what was working in the classroom and what was not, who was being left behind. And interestingly enough, I got really, really sick that May, and I couldn't walk. I have autoimmune, and apparently when I have a whole bunch of things happen at once, including a whole lot of stress because I was in the middle of a custody battle with my ex, and also just working way too hard, going to school, just doing everything, being a mom. So my body said, enough, you're done. And I had to stop, and I thought I was never going to be able to teach again. And that was devastating. But then I realized that I could actually tutor. And so I started my tutoring business. And I took the knowledge that came from going from school to see what was working and what wasn't working in the schools. And I was really glad to have had that opportunity, not knowing that that was happening because I was supposed to be here. And so I started a tutoring agency, and I lowered my rates as much as I could to help the lower income families. And I couldn't lower it enough without becoming destitute myself. So from there, I started the foundation. And I did a pilot project last year to see if it would work. And I just raised money from garage sales. And my garage sales have now become famous. And it turned out that there was a big need for it. So we registered in June, and here I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I still have autoimmune. My doctor said that most people don't do as well as I have done with the autoimmune that I have. And it's because I'm doing what I love. It's because I was pushed by getting sick. I was pushed away from working for the school board and into helping directly in the community. And that leads right into what is on my mind. And what's on my mind is the community and charity work and fundraising to help our community. So I was saying that I'm famous for my garage sales, and Ann-Marie's laughing because her daughter took pictures of my garage, and this is after all the garage sales are done.
It's a store. Like, holy.
But I can't sell out of my garage because the city bylaw is you can have 2 garage sales or 2 sales out of your house over a 2-day period each year. And I think it should be reworded so that you can either do that or have 4 garage sales over a period of 4 days. And that would be great. So I'm kind of borrowing my neighbors' lawns right now.
But that's what we talk about, community.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting together and work. They can't stop you now.
Yeah. But what I do is I do like to have my garage back before the winter comes. So what I do with the extra stuff is anything that I can't sell online. There's some consignment shops that I bring them to where they make some money off of it, and then they give me a percentage to go towards the foundation. So I'm helping the small businesses. We also sell our items at super cheap, low prices, and they're amazing items. The people who donate to our sales are lovely people, and a lot of the stuff is brand new. And I still sell it for really low because I'm right smack in between an upper class area and a lower class area, and I love the fact that I am, because the people who really need the extra help and the clothing that we have and the shampoos. I mean, people donate fantastic shampoos, and I just say fill a bag and we'll come up with a price that works for both of us. And that's how I work the sale. There's no specific price. It's let's fill a bag for you and how much you can afford. And then we work it out, and the money goes to the foundation. And then the people who really need those items get those items. So we're giving back in as many ways as we can, and then with what's left over we divide it up. So if there's extra blankets that maybe have stains on them, then we give them out to animal rescue agencies or shelters, and then we also call up the local shelters like Our Sister's Place, Mission Services. There's a number of other ones as well. And we find out exactly what we need, and then we box up different items for them. And so we spread out what's left until I can finally get a storefront.
And it's coming, honey. So what I'm hearing, from you today, Clarissa, is that sometimes the universe just create these opportunities that we have no control over because we are so busy, caught up in the norm of society that you have to be at a job 9 to 5, 4, whatever. Now it's like 6 days a week instead of 5. Like there's no family time anymore. And what I'm seeing a lot that's happening lately is how much the universe is constructing people's life. And this is why I'm talking. I thought about it last night and I said, okay, universe, you need to help me out here. I don't know what to talk. There's so much on my mind. Like, oh my gosh, I could talk all day. But we need to taper it down to fit the cause. And that's what came to me this morning about what's on my mind. And one of my colleagues I was with this morning, she goes, do what you do normal. Mothers need to learn to slow down, step back, and accept the flow. It's just that simple because you're talking about how you got into this position. My situation was, you know what? I slipped and fell and crushed the bones in my wrist. And it was that aha moment one night. When I saw Michael Lee Chin, one of the richest men here in Canada, and he said one thing. In Chinese version, crisis equals opportunity or danger. Did you hear what I just said? In Chinese version, crisis equals opportunity or danger. What are you going to turn your crisis into? So you have a choice again.
You
right?
do.
You have a choice.
Life throws things at you, and then you make the choice. I mean, my doctor had told me that I was going to be on disability. And I said, I have absolutely no interest in being on disability. I want to make a difference. I ended up, when I was starting my business, I was not making very much at first. And I ended up having to go to the food bank. And I just went with the flow. That's what I was meant to do. And the truth is, I'm glad, because when people would call to see if I could tutor their child, and they would say, well, how much is it? And I'd say, $25 per hour. And they would say, oh, well, I knew what that sound was because I had made it when I didn't have the money. And I think that it makes a big difference when you can understand where the people are coming from on their level. So I was in a point where I didn't have much money. I had to use the food bank. And when I would have potential clients saying, oh, I would say, is that too much? Because if it is, we have a subsidy program. And then it would turn out that, yes, they needed the subsidy program.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, you're so up my alley. I'm a empowering life coach, basically. And I remember getting into that situation because I remember hiring life coaches to help our moms to find their directions and, sort out their confusion and help prioritize their life. And I remember how expensive. I was devastated when I heard the price. And I was like, but if it works for them, it will work for moms that's struggling. And how can I make a difference? So I went back and I studied it myself, got certified. And I did that because in my mind, I'm there for any mom that needs it. Mm-hmm. Right? But there comes a time when you got to implement, your value and your worth. And people have to understand if it's good enough for you, it's worth what it's worth. So one of my colleagues, again in the office, we were talking about me transferring because I'm in the process of revamping who Ann-Marie Ricketts is, right? So, for example, the swim show with Ann-Marie Ricketts is what it's going to be, because working with Ann-Marie Ricketts is a priceless opportunity. And I always think about how can I help my moms, because I've been there as a single mom with 3 children and 3 different age groups. It was very challenging. However, I realize as I go through our journey of developing the agency, the charity, that, you know what? there's a price, and there's nothing for free when you really think about it. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is people don't value free.
No, and that's why we have
They don't value free.
No, and that's why we have the subsidy program, and the Educational Help Centers Incorporated is so happy to have met me, because they had been trying to figure out how to deal with the free issue, because they had a number of clients who said, well, we just can't afford anything.
Yeah.
And so they would have their certified teachers volunteer, but then they didn't commit. So
exactly. So
the subsidy program is there because if somebody could only afford a small amount, they're still contributing.
Exactly.
And that means that their child knows that their parents think that this is important, because maybe they're contributing the last little bit of their laundry money for that week, but they're contributing. So it makes it more likely that they'll show up for their tutoring session, and that it really means something to them.
Well, as I move forward and as I continue to switch over to the pay for your value campaign, there's so many ways, because when you look at some parents and their kids are in the best or the most name brand and stuff like that, what is your value? What do you value? And if it's a valuable thing for them, they will find the money. And one of the things I want to share with you is, for people that can't afford things, my colleague shared with me, and she goes, I learned in school about shared program. So if you really want the program and it's too expensive, and you could find someone to partner up with you and actually split the cost, learn the same thing. Maybe you're only getting half an hour instead of an hour, but you will value that time. So that is another way to actually take a look at how to do things. There's always a way. If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. So that's something you could even share with your clients. Do you have a friend that's willing to pay half of that and you pay half, and I tutor the kids at the same time? It's called a shared program, right?
Right.
So it is very important. So we want to wrap up with, our single moms. And what I want to really leave people with today is how to allow, we need to find a way to allow ourselves for unpredictable things that's going to happen in our life, which is every day. You don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But when it happens, what do you have? What kind of tools you have to help you move forward. So those are the things that, we do, and that's helping you find different tools to maintain and to stay on point in your journey. So there's something that will work for you. Always. Don't give up on yourself. Just find a tool. And there's tools out there constantly being produced, whether by other mothers or other friends. And as I bring people in from the community that's doing their thing, I'm hoping that will help to empower you. And as you said, your education is very important, especially for low income.
There's been a lot of talk on the radio about the fact that London actually has the highest number of children in household poverty, and that for me is just devastating. Children from lower income families are extremely intelligent, and for them to feel that maybe they aren't going to be able to get ahead just because they don't have access to extra help outside of the classroom. And I mean, volunteers are wonderful, but some of them don't have the training or the understanding or the amount of calmness that they need to have to be able to work with the student. So that's where having the money to afford a high quality tutor is really, really important, because then that will bring up their confidence, and it can help pull the whole family out of poverty if they have the confidence that they need to continue on their way through the education system. And the education system can be daunting. And that's why we're here, to help everyone survive and hopefully enjoy the ride.
I am very proud of you. I'm so happy to, go with the flow and, listen a little closer and constantly keeping an open mind for change. And, I'm just so pleased to hear the progress and compared to last year and to see how much passion you really have for your intentions and for your clientels. And that to me is very important. I really look at that when I'm working with people. Is this just an idea or is this really an idea? And as I say to my kids, I don't want to hear, I don't have the energy or the time. Just go do it and then come let me know about it. And once you do that, it's working and it's on the way. So once again, our London community and people from all over the world, wherever you are, I just want to continue to encourage you to just be strong within and continue to just do your work and work hard at what you're doing. And don't give up. Allow the unpredictability to happen in your life. That's another tongue twister. I have issues with tongue twisters. So I just want to talk again about, don't forget to check us out every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. and then a replay on Saturday from 4 to 5. Find us on Facebook, Apex Radio, by hitting up the app, and it will take you all to the show. Remember to hit the like, follow, and comment. Don't forget, we are wrapping up the London's Got Talent audition September the 22nd, 4:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Sprit Theatre Covent Garden Market, and September the 23rd to 1 to 5 p.m. at the S.W.I.M office. We are located at 296 Horton, London, Ontario. We're at the corner of Wellington and Horton. 519-432-5454 for more information. The 12 talented performers will be selected to compete and perform in front of a live audience and celebrity judge on October the 20th, 2017 at the Wolf Performance Hall. The lucky winner will receive $1,000 cash prize. All other proceeds will go to benefit the S.W.I.M and the Smart Agency. Today is a good day. All ages are welcome to audition. Any style, bring yourself and your unique talent. Don't forget to check out our GoFundMe campaign. Just $5. Just $5. All it takes is a donation of $5 or what your heart desire at www.gofundme.com/singlewomeninmotherhood.com. And I want to be able to, talk a little bit about the other shows that's on the Apex Radio. We are talking about the Jukes and Juke in the morning. We're talking about the Antidote with S7N, Freeway Show. There's so much shows to check out. Mind Over Matter with Dr. Laura and Ashley Wilson. We're talking about, the Lounge Radio. Conscious Shot. The King C. There's so much more. Afro Fever. Island Jungle. There, you have a variety. Woman's Voice is also on there. So listen. Hey, I heard that show is really good because they're just raw and down to the, earth, and they just let you have it the way it is. This is an amazing radio show. We are reaching out right across. Please hit us up, send us some question. Again, we are located at www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com. Some of the programs we offer people are the Let's Talk About It. Call us. You got to be on a waiting list these days. We are getting ready to have an amazing year, and we have some amazing surprises for our single moms that's putting in the work. You got to work for it, right? And we have the Childcare Exchange, which is the third Saturday of every month. We have the Little Fish program Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for those who have appointments and need that assistance. We have the Community Agent program and so much more. Just give us a call. We'll bring you in, give you all the information you need. And this is the year for you to say when now. This is how we do it. We need to keep it real, keep the education system going, Don't be afraid to touch base, tap in, stand up, fight for your kids, because, this is the next generation. Clarissa, what are you going to say to the people?
I'm going to say, well, number one, thank you very much for having me on the show. And thank you for listening. And I'm definitely going to say to check us out at www.thefearlessfoundationforlearning.org. And our phone number is 519-204-5237. And you can also find us on Facebook at The Fearless Foundation for Learning.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And what else do you do? We support anybody who needs support in education. Mm-hmm. So, and that means any age. If you're heading back to school as an adult and you need to have some extra help with tutoring, we don't turn people away. So as long as we have the money, then we can support you. And that's another big thing is we are coming around door to door to get fundraising. And if anybody's listening, if you have some money that you would like to donate, hit us up.
Then help us out. I'd really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And you are, going to get there. And this is the sweet part about building your dream and going after it, is to see it unfold and to know that you're right here for the people in the London community area is like so amazing. I look back and I'm laughing because I remember you said earlier in the show about how you started this Fearless Foundation, what brought you to the table. And I'm sure so many people out there have experienced this where something happened and it just pull you away. And I remember last year or so, after I had the baby, I'm thinking, Lord, what is this all about? And someone said, well, maybe he gave you another baby so you could really relate. It's been years. And it's like, oh, okay. And then the accident came and it's like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? Because sometimes you don't have a choice, but you are pulled in the direction you're supposed to be. Enjoy the flow. Go with it. So when you get there, you could smile and say, I remember when you called my name. That's another song by S.W.I.M. Perignon. You got to check him out. S.W.I.M. Perignon. Don't forget to check us out every Sunday from 5 to 6. And then the replay on Friday from 4 to 5. Find us on Facebook, Apex Radio, by hitting the app, and it will take you all to the show. Remember to hit the like, follow, and comment. Send us any questions, any information. We'll do our best to get the answer to you. Again, we are Single Women in Motherhood Training Program. This is the S.W.I.M radio show with Ann-Marie Ricketts, and I am here for you anytime, just to support you, keep you real, keep you alive, and let your dreams be told, because you are special, you are unique, you could do it, you got this. It's so nice to hear somebody say, you know what, you got this. So believe in yourself, and when you get a dive and when you get down, remember our quote, rest if you must, but don't quit. Because sometimes we just have to stop to reevaluate and retake a look at where we're at. And then you will know where you're going, because every day is a new day. So when you feel that low vibes coming on, don't give up on yourself. This is when you're supposed to rock. And remember, when something good is coming, I'm telling you, that enemy has such a unique way to create havoc, to distract you from your main goal. Don't let that be your future story to be told. You need to fight that. Remember, you are special. You are unique. You are basically simply the best. And you know what? Shout out to everyone. We love you. As I said, one love. Keep it real. Make this a new year. Say when now. This is how we do it.
You're listening to Apex Radio.
Live from London, Ontario to the world, you're listening to Apex Radio.